Hiya folks, it's really hot out here, so I'd like to keep today's video brief so I can go back in where there's air conditioning and enjoy that for a little while. I kind of wanted to make an interim video though to say that I'm well aware of the sort of national conversation going on right now. It's hard to be unaware of it, around race relations and the role of the police and, you know, all these other things, the virus and so on and so forth. Personally, I find it difficult to talk about these things, and part of it has to do with something that I have referenced a couple of times, I think on blogs, probably never put into a book, which is that I have a certain amount of PTSD due to an incident in 1991 where me and a couple of friends of mine were attacked on the streets in Akron in what was a plainly racially motivated attack. Now, I'm well aware that racially motivated attacks by black people on white people are probably far rarer than the other way around, but they do happen, and I can say they happen because they happened to me, or it happened to me. It was an unfortunate incident that left some deep impressions in my brain, which make it very difficult to talk sensibly when things go on like have been going on, like went on 2 weeks ago, which hopefully, fingers crossed, are not going to happen again. I like the trend now where people are gathering together to celebrate racial harmony, and that's nice, and I really, really hope that we were wrong about the spread of the disease through these kind of gatherings. Indications seem to indicate that we were wrong, or else things have changed somewhat since, you know, the early parts of the pandemic, and maybe these kind of things are more safer now. But the fact is that it's probably best that I don't even address these things. And I think there's always a place for somebody out there who wants to talk about something else, you know, wants to talk about something that really was there before all of this national conversation began and will still be there again after all this national conversation dies down. And that's what I would like to devote myself to, and I suppose I'm just asking for your indulgence in that, asking for you to, you know, kind of allow me to talk about those things. You know, we may touch upon these other subjects, but, you know, my opinions about these political matters hardly matter at all. Nobody's really listening to me for my opinion on police reform. Nobody's listening to me for my opinion on race relations. I want the races to be harmonious and happy, and I want us all to be safe in our homes and our businesses, and that's about all I can say for that. In conjunction with this, I'd like to read you a short passage from I Am That by Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. I just watched some videos of the guy, and it's interesting. When you read his book, at least I didn't get the sense of the way he talked. When you see him on video, he's not speaking in English, but he's very animated and kind of, and almost shouting at his questioners, rather than this sort of calm, measured speech I was imagining him talking in. So it's kind of funny. This question, though, deals with the horrors of East Pakistan, which is the former name of Bangladesh. So the war in East Pakistan, or Bangladesh, must have been going on when this was asked of Sri Nisargadatta Maharaj. And I thought his answer was interesting because I think it kind of relates to somewhat of my feelings about the current situation. Are you not at all concerned about the state of the world? Look at the horrors in East Pakistan, Bangladesh. Do they not touch you at all? This would have been going on right next door to where Sri Nisargadatta was living at the time. He says, I read newspapers. I know what is transpiring. But my reaction is not like yours. You are looking for a cure, while I am concerned with prevention. As long as there are causes, there must also be results. As long as people are bent on dividing and separating, as long as they are selfish and aggressive, such things will happen. If you want peace and harmony in the world, you must have peace and harmony within your hearts and minds. Such change cannot be imposed. It must come from within. Those who abhor war must get war out of their system. Without peaceful people, how can you have peace in the world? As long as people are as they are, the world must be as it is. I am doing my part in trying to help people to know themselves as the only cause of their own misery. In that sense, I am a useful man. But what I am in myself, what my normal state is, cannot be expressed in terms of social consciousness and usefulness. And that's kind of how I feel. I feel like I'm more interested in prevention than a cure. There's a lot of people out there right now talking about a cure for the ills that we have, and that's good. And there's nothing wrong with that, and I encourage people to talk about that and to discuss it. But what I'm more interested in is something more like prevention. What I'm more interested in is finding a way that we can all establish balance within ourselves so that these kind of things that have been happening recently no longer have to happen anymore. And it's a long-term project. It's one that will not be concluded in my lifetime. It's one that people like the Buddha 2,500 years ago put into motion, and Bodhidharma and Dogen and these great names of the past put into motion and began to spread slowly throughout the world and are still spreading slowly throughout the world. And I want to be one of the voices that helps that slow spread of this new kind of prevention move throughout the world. And I don't really have that much to say in terms of how to cure the current situation, except that I know the cure involves more and more people devoting themselves to practices like meditation and other spiritual practices. I hate the word spiritual, really, but that's the category people put them in, which will enable them to have a better sort of relationship with themselves and with the world. And going on from here, that's what I would like to continue to talk about on this YouTube channel and in my books and everything else. And I'm just asking for your indulgence to do that and your permission not to speculate about how to cure the current ills of the world, which I think a lot of people are already working on, and which I'm very hopeful will turn out as they should. Thanks a lot. See you later. Donation information is below. I really appreciate your donations. That's how I make my living. If you can't afford to donate, because obviously a lot of people are having hardship right now, then take a break from donating and things will be okay on my end, I hope. I am still very hopeful that we are seeing our way out of the current mess and that we will return to something a little bit more normal soon. Let's keep our fingers crossed and let's keep a positive attitude. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye.